Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we're just gonna really talk about it. She is. But first things first, if you are new here,
first off, welcome.
Rain Gang, welcome back, sis, for another video. Thank you for stopping by and all that jazz. All right, so where do we start? I've been very candid, very open, mainly over my Instagram, about having or dealing with seasonal depression and or anxiety. And I say and or because it could be together or it could be either or. So get your coffee, get your tea, get your snacks. I wrote some things down in my homegirl's journal. This is Felicia Latour, if you follow her on Instagram, or if you don't, you should be. Anyway, I've made some notes because I just want to be prepared and I don't know how this video is gonna go. It's quite different than what I normally do. I've just felt very led to make this video, hopefully to help and just kind of share. People see people through a screen and they never really know what they're dealing with, because obviously we're gonna show you the best of the best. And if we're showing you our lows, it's calculated. Never forget that. I have said over on my Instagram before that everything that you see on social media is a performance. Everything. If someone is putting up a recording device, putting it into where that person is in frame, pushing record, and then going down to cry, it's a performance. I'm not saying that capturing the moment is a performance, but 99, or let me just be a little easy on that, 98% of the time, what you see on social media is a performance. I don't care how real you think your favorite is, how much they come off as real and authentic, whether it be myself, a lot of it is a performance. Never forget that. All right. There's different types of depression, as we know. I personally deal with seasonal depression. It's ebbs and flows in my life. I look at seasonal as it breaks up. Sometimes people deal with actual seasonal depression where it's, cold and rainy outside, and that causes a depression because we already know like the lack of vitamin D, what it does for certain people. This is why I always say, because being from California, I'm like, I don't know with how I am if I could deal with not having sunshine 24/7. Like weather affects me totally. So kudos to y'all who love the rain and snow. Give me a palm tree and breeze and I'll be all right. A lot of my seasonal depression comes from simply life. Life literally lifes. It lifes. Life is always lifing, okay? So obviously I'm a private person, and so I will share as much as I can where I feel comfortable. I never really thought of myself as like in a depression or like depressed until like maybe a couple years ago. To me, because I really didn't know much about it, I didn't really dig deep. And then once I dug deep, I was like, oh, like I have all of the signs and symptoms, okay? And then when I went to therapy, it was like, oh, I really have all the signs and the symptoms. And I found out that I'm also an HSP, which is a highly sensitive person. Along with that comes empathy, which I don't believe everybody's empathetic, even though that's like the thing to say. But along comes empathy. You really feel people's energies. You are a reader of thine room, okay? You may have discernment. You peep certain things. And I feel like amongst all these quotes and things that are cute and aesthetically pleasing over on the Instagram has made people believe that they are like that, but it's actually kind of rare. I really I didn't see myself as that either until I went to therapy and did some exercises and some things, and I found out like, okay, so this is what I am. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so I figured out some things that really helped me. Okay, and some of these things you may have already heard, some of the things you may not. Whatever I went through, I would love to be able to share to help someone else. So since I've already mentioned this, and this goes in really no particular order, but since I already mentioned this, therapy. Okay, y'all, I feel like therapy is starting to be a little bit more of a conversation type of thing. There's some science behind it. Like it could be very helpful to me. So let me check it out. And there's so many resources out there. But when I tell y'all, I was so nervous to go to therapy. The majority of my life, I have felt in some way misunderstood. If I felt misunderstood, I am a shutdowner. And the reason why I shut down is because I know if I don't, what could happen. Hello? Y'all, somebody understands me. Okay, thank you.
I was wondering if I was in this room by myself.
I'm not proud of it, but I know that if I don't, if I'm angry or sad or whatever, it's not going to be a good thing. You understand what I'm saying? And so I knew that was one of my triggers, was being misunderstood. And so the first therapist that I had. Because listen, sis, I don't know where I heard this, but therapy is like dating. Like, you may not find who you're supposed to be with for a good minute. Okay, you may have to weed some suckers out. You know what I'm saying? And so the very first person I found, I really wanted someone who was Christian based. I wanted a Black woman, but not old, mainly like 40s, 50s. I wanted it to be obviously a female, a woman. I went through BetterHelp and I got this older lady who literally did not let me really talk. She just started preaching to me, literally, as if she assumed like I didn't know the word of God. It was just such a disconnect. And I was like, nah, fam, I ended that with the quickness. And then I found somebody else who was amazing. And then I've had other therapists. And then I've also had friends who I trust enough and that I also consider therapy. Although they may not be licensed, it's a form of therapy. Just being able to talk to somebody who understands. While we do have that form of therapy, we still need to go to an actual licensed counselor or therapist to be able to really talk through, do exercises. Like, I learned so much about myself. I was like, really, this is why I be doing. Like, you be thinking you know.
Do you really know?
You be thinking you know. But you will dig deep. You will just learn so much about yourself. And one thing you cannot do, which I did, I ain't even gonna hold you, is lie to your therapist. Ain't no way you could get help if you lie to your therapist. Somebody, I guess fear holding me back. And she just knew. She knew when to let me. She knew when like I would be comfortable in opening up to her. Because I am not, anybody who like literally knows me like off camera, they know like I do not open up to people. Like, I can know you for 20 years and you will not know a whole lot about me. And it's just a form of protection. And honestly, can we just go there for a second? Okay, thank you. If you don't know my background, I grew up in the church, Christian, non-denominational. Later on became a PK, assistant. My dad was assistant pastor. And people in church, they learn how to put on. They learn how to front. They learn how to act and perform. And you don't realize that you're doing it, I had to really dig deep into that. Like, just, you're so used to just, everything's okay. Like, and deep down, you're like, no, it's not. And so I just really dig through that. So I just really encourage you. People will say it all over the internet, but it will not change your life until you actually do it yourself. So if you've ever been considering therapy, there's so many ways around it financially, because I know it's a big thing, but to really invest in your mental health, it is going to change the game. So hear from me, someone who was just very not against therapy at all, but just very much so guarded. Take it from me, it will change your life. Okay, so definitely therapy, which to me would be obvious, was very, very helpful in kind of coping with anxiety and depression. Another thing that we talk about all the time that is so cliche is prayer. Listen, hold on, before you click off this video, listen to me. We are team. I'm keeping you in my prayers. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna throw up this Bible scripture, and that's it. That's it. Are you really taking time with no distractions and really giving it to God? We hear the songs. We see the little cute aesthetic little things on the Instagram talking about let go, let God. We hear the song, let go. We hear it, but do we do it? You will be so surprised with how much your mindset changes when you truly give it to God. And mind you, mental health is a real thing. You can pray and pray and pray and have a great relationship with God and still struggle with mental health. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like some of us really forget the power that's in prayer to really give it over to God while doing other things. That's what I had to do. I had to really dive deep or finding a plan. Those plans on the Bible app, measure, writing it down, journaling, really giving it over to God. Now, if you are not a Christian, I don't know. I'm only speaking from the ways in which I was able to cope and the way that I'm coping. God even says, cast your cares. Like, don't hold on to it. And we continue to pick it up. Like, why are we doing that? The things that we've heard over and over, the battle is not ours. It's His. Yet we over here putting on Vaseline and sneakers like we finna fight. Yet we want to hold on when He tells us to let go. We want to worry when He said don't be anxious about anything. That be taking me out. I be done. Anyway, let me start. So another thing, y'all, that has really, really helped me to cope is knowing my triggers. Hello? You be over here walking around mad because of something that somebody did, posted, said, whatever, and you're like, you know what? That's a trigger. And when you figure out your triggers, you can maneuver in life way better. You can maneuver in your anxiety way better. You can maneuver in your depression way better. You dig a little deeper and you're like, okay, when she does that, that's a trigger for me. I don't like that. A, B, and C is what bothers me. And this is why it bothers me. When she misunderstood me in this point in time in our conversation, I shut down because I was misunderstood at 5 years old or whatever the case may be. So when I found out my triggers, I was like, okay, now I have like a foundation in a sense. So now what's the next step? Child, listen, because I ain't know my triggers. I thought I knew my triggers, but I ain't know them until I was triggered. And I was like, well, I'm being triggered and this is triggering. And how do I go through this season of being triggered, huh? Okay. Well, I think a lot of us tend to kind of forget about, or maybe we're not educated enough about it. I don't know. Our supplements and our diet. Diet has a lot to do with almost everything, if not everything. You know, just simply the lack of vitamin D3. Okay. Your stress going everywhere. Your stress hormones just being erratic. Your cortisol levels all over the place. Your hormones all over the place. Obviously lives, you know, but you could be like extra sad on top of that because your vitamin D levels are just non-existent. It could be something super small as that. I truly believe that a lot of doctors, not all, but some doctors are going to medicate you immediately. You know, you can say so many things happened, this happened, you did this, your anxiety's through the roof, whatever, and they're gonna give you medication. While that may be helpful for some, I feel like there's so many other things that can help. So what helped me? Number one, being ashwagandha. Okay, now again, I am no doctor, I am no nutritionist, this is just all for me, okay? Again, I'm just sharing. You gotta give these disclaimers because listen, people just be peopling, okay? Ashwagandha is known to relieve stress. I noticed with being consistent though, like you can't just, well, at least I couldn't just pop a couple pills and then, you know, go about my day and I was, you know, just healed. No, it really helped my stress when I was consistent. I would take it at night. I got mine from Amazon and then another time from the vitamin shop. I'll try to like leave everything down below in the description box if it helps. Do your research. Per usual, always do your research. Magnesium. I'm just really in tune with my body. And so I up my magnesium levels. I did research on that. We are, Americans were super deficient in magnesium according to research. And like low magnesium levels can be linked to depression, can be linked to stress. Like a lot of us are literally just extremely stressed and we don't know that it's how stressed we are and how it's affecting our moods and our outlooks, how our brain works with other parts and functions of the body. Like it's just it's really a lot when you think about it. Like I was doing a ton of research. If you're not even getting enough sleep alone is a huge factor that we just kind of like, we hear it, but it's like we don't really apply it. Like, are we gonna take the extra time and get an extra hour of sleep? That might affect some things. You never know. That's why I'm just like, I am not quick to medicate through a doctor. I've always been like that. My mom's been like that. Even if I have the worst headache, which I don't get headaches, but if I have a really bad headache, I'm gonna thug it out. Like I'm not gonna pop Tylenol. Like that's just me. That's just my preference. We've been homeopathic for as long as I can remember, and that's just what makes me comfortable. I would try everything that I could naturally, get my levels checked, which I have before, and just seeing where I'm deficient and maybe how that could be connected in some way to mental health and depression and anxiety, all that, because it can be. So those three things in conjunction really helped me, because everything is kind of like linked to like brain receptors and all this type of stuff that, you know, I'm still researching on, okay, if I'm just being completely honest with you. But a lot of it can be linked to depression and anxiety, along with, you know, not being able to sleep, what you're eating, all of that plays a huge role, and it played a huge role for me. So which leads me to the gym. Okay, come on somebody. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know who my husband is. Well, you know who my husband is over here, but you guys know that he does training on the side. He's a certified personal trainer on the side. He doesn't train anybody right now, just because of lack of time. That's always been his passion. He's always been super fit. He was a football player player. Like, you know, my man's is my man's, you know what I mean? So one thing about me, I never really struggled with weight. I've always been a curvy short girl, but I was more on the smaller side. And it wasn't until I got into like my 30s and my hormones too shifted. Like, it was just like a whole issue with that. What I was eating, what I was deficient in, just stress, all the type of stuff. I got to my heaviest I have ever been. And being 5'3", it's like, come on, sis, like, you gotta get your life a little bit. Come on. I felt terrible, which affected my mental health. My job requires me to be in front of a camera. Like, you know, my management is wondering, where's content, sis? Like, and over here, I'm like, I cannot. One thing I'm not gonna do is fake it for y'all. I love y'all. I do. I love y'all, but I'm not gonna fake it. I am not that couple either that's going to not be speaking to my husband for whatever reason and getting on camera and like, hey y'all. You never ever see anything about my life. You just have to assume. Wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling inspired. I wasn't feeling motivated. And I learned, okay, I think I'm dipping into another seasonal episode. And so going to the gym, as we know these things, endorphins, they are real. You follow me on Instagram, you see my Instagram stories. And I recently posted a reel. But you see my Instagram stories and me always taking pictures of my watch. The end of the workout, showing you how many calories we burn. Because, we lift up in the gyms, okay? We lift. Even if you don't belong to a gym or you feel like you don't have the time, if you can just take 10 minutes, it's literally releasing all of that stress. Like, you're releasing and you're in this good mood afterwards. The gym is my therapy. I love it. I took a huge break because I just couldn't find like the motivation. And so I had to become disciplined again. And it does require discipline. It does require, you're not feeling motivated to stay consistent in order to see results and all of that. I promise you, it's just a stress buster, and stress obviously leads to so many other things. Like, everything, I feel like it's just connected in just a way. Not only am I like starting to see, a little change, lost a little bit of weight, I not only feel better physically, I feel better mentally, and I'm just a happier person.
I wake up with so much joy in my heart.
Being there also with my husband, so like working out with somebody is a wonderful thing if you can do it. I like to be alone a lot of times, so I understand, working out by yourself, walking, whatever you can do. If you're not active and you deal with anxiety, depression, try being active. Like, try committing and dedicating. Y'all, sleep. Okay, we don't talk about it. We don't. Like, we talk about it, we don't talk about it. Like, these are simple. They seem so simple, but they're all life-changing. Everything, I feel like, it takes you really wanting a change. You're gonna put in the effort to change. So I made it a point to get at least 7 hours of sleep. I would love to shoot for 8 to 9, but honestly, with my days be daying, okay, I don't think that's gonna happen. Y'all, when I made the decision to cut my phone off, to, make the room dark, to ease my mind, because y'all be having 1,002 tabs open daily, all day long. If you're a woman, if you're a mom, if you're a wife, you get it. You don't have to have kids to be busy. Don't let nobody play you like that. But listen here. Having a couple, and I only have one, but I have a dog, which makes 2. It's just a lot going on. It's just tabs open, that need to be closed. But sleep will really change your life. You getting 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep is not doing it for you. I'm like, sleep ain't gonna... What's the extra hour gonna do? Sis, try and find out. I wholeheartedly believe that anxiety and depression are curable. I can't speak for people who have severe mental health issues. I've never experienced that. But in my case, I believe that. You keep saying I'm depressed, then you're gonna stay depressed. I had to change my thoughts. I had to change what I was saying. I have anxiety. I say that all the time. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. We know that. So being mindful of your words, understanding what it is, but still being mindful of your words, the powerful thing. That's why we have affirmations. You might have $1 in the bank account, but you're gonna keep telling yourself, I am rich. I have money I have coin in the bank. So why are we not doing that when it comes to anxiety? We may know we struggle with anxiety. When are we gonna start saying and believing I'm healed of anxiety? I might be struggling right now, but I'm not that. I did get some questions over on Instagram, which I have not looked at, which I probably should have looked at first. But I did mention I was going to be doing this video over on Instagram. I asked if anybody had questions, leave them and I'll see if I can answer them anonymously. And where am I going? Okay, cool. So, oh wow. Okay. Okay, so this is a good question. This says, this might be a dumb question. It's not. It says, how do you know if you're depressed or just having a lazy, unproductive day? So that was one of my struggles. I knew I was experiencing a seasonal depression because of things that were going on in my life. So it just kind of went hand in hand. It just made sense. Like this was happening over in my life. So immediately it was like everything that I was able to push through, I could not. Like it wasn't like a form of laziness. I physically could not make my mind do that. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I did not want to be bothered by my loved ones. If anybody called me, no matter who you were, I didn't want to talk. And so when I started seeing like the pattern, that's when I knew like, okay, this isn't just like a lazy episode of whatever. And I'm not typically a lazy person either. So it was like, I just knew, like, I'm like, okay, this is different. And this happens every time this happens. And why is, so I was able to put two and two together. Then in therapy, I was able to kind of get more of an understanding, like, okay, so this is seasonal depression. Like, this is what it is. Do you experience any physical pain due to your anxiety? If so, do you deal with it? So yes, y'all, it's crazy how the body is. I used to get severe like pain in my shoulders because I tense up. A lot of us do. Like, we'll just tense up and we don't know that we are, and we're like, okay, we gotta release, just let it sink down a little bit. Sometimes like when you're stressed, like you might pop on a movie and then you realize, oh, you start feeling more like in your element, you're more relaxed. That's how I kind of dealt with it. So either I was throwing on some type of topical cream asking for a massage to get my mind off of it, getting up, like anything I could do to get my mind off of that. Because when you start thinking about it, it's like, I feel like your brain just goes straight to that. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, why is my shoulder hurting? Like, then you start thinking other things and it just become a whole cycle. Okay, another one was, how do you let your family know about your depression and that you need alone time? My personality, even before I found out this is what it was, I've always been more introverted. So I'm an ambivert, which means I'm half extroverted, half introverted, but I'm mainly introvert. The older I get, the more introverted I feel like I am. I need to recharge. If you see me like around, like if I'm like in a social setting, I will be like, all right, it's enough peopling. Like I will literally say that, like, okay, it's a lot. They just know me. That's the great thing, like having a good communication line with your family, having a daughter who understands all that type of stuff. I literally go in my room and close the door. Like they just know, because I've expressed like, okay, I literally need to charge. Like this was a lot for me. I just say it and then I do it. And so then now they see like, okay, she said this and now she did this. So the next time this happens and she's gonna say it, or I see her with her door closed, I know. Or even if it's like the TV is like super loud, or like I hate multiple sounds in a room, that affects me. Again, I'm a highly sensitive person. So I would have to go and just like be silent. Sometimes I drive silent. I just need like that recharge. Have you been able to pinpoint triggers for your anxiety? Yes. But therapy really helped me with that. Just like really talking it out, not holding things in. Because I am literally that person who I hold things in. I have major trust issues. Like I peep stuff and then I keep it to myself, and then I end up like, it's something about her, something about him. Sometimes it's a projection. And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about projections, okay? A lot of us project.
Take it. Exactly.
Onto other people. You wonder why you don't like that person, because she reminds you of yourself, okay? And we got to work through that. Those are triggers and it comes from other things. So yes, I was able to pinpoint my triggers. How long it usually take you to realize what's happening mentally? I really can't answer that because it's kind of hard for me to answer that. I'm able to pinpoint it soon. So that probably didn't answer your question. I'm so sorry. How do you get ahead of seasonal depression? I think getting ahead of seasonal depression is knowing this is what you deal with and being consistent with everything. Not just praying to God when things get hard, like actually creating that relationship with God. So it's like you're already in tune, you know what I mean? And I wasn't doing that, y'all. Like grew up in the church, everything, but I wasn't always opening my Bible up at 6 o'clock in the morning and having devotional. I wasn't always doing that. Sometimes I forget to go to the source. And And I feel like being consistent with taking your vitamins, being consistent with going to the gym, being consistent with how you eat, changing everything into a lifestyle. I think being consistent, in my case, can stay ahead of seasonal depression. Ooh, this one says, how to stay looking presentable when all you feel like doing is showering and laying in the bed. Listen here, somebody, come in the room. Sometimes you don't need to fight that. Sometimes you don't need to be presentable. Sometimes you may need to call off of work if you're able to. I understand. Sometimes you may not be able to do A, B, and C. Sometimes you may have to ask for help. Can you take my child to school? I need this time. We don't deal. And so therefore we don't heal. And I feel like dealing with it is literally sitting in it sometimes. I ain't looking presentable, okay? But one thing, like I said, it's hard for me to fake it. But I do believe in allowing yourself to feel it and then making yourself get up after that. I feel like life is too short. Just sulk for, so many, weeks and months. But also allow yourself to do that, but make sure that you make yourself get back up. Has your spouse ever been a trigger to your anxiety and depression? Yes. Yes. Has it ever been hard in your marriage? If so, how did you two get through it? Not really, because I didn't really know that's what it was. Like, I just thought I'm always been moody. Like, that's just what it been. I'm like, I'm just moody, or this pissed me off or whatever, and I can't shake it for now. God bless me with just a very understanding, laid back, chill type of husband, because I'm the opposite. And so I think with our personalities and how he is, it was like he just kind of, I guess he just caught on. So to answer your question, not really, no. So what scriptures have you stood on for your anxiety and depression? So Matthew 6:34. Don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has enough worries and cares in itself. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Don't judge me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not unto your own understanding, and in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. It's literally like as if your parents are like, don't do that because I got it. You trust that. I mean, especially if you have a good relationship with your parents, you trust that. So when God says don't worry, why do we still do it? Yeah, I don't know. Another one, one of my favorites, Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything. Like nothing. Like God says, he be like, sis, don't be anxious about nothing, but in everything through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And then God's gonna give you all the peace that surpasses all type of understanding. Like your life is literally going crazy, but yet you have a peace. He's telling you, don't do that. And once you don't do it and you literally give it all to me, I'm gonna give you this peace that you're not gonna be able to even comprehend. Hello, don't give me I will call Kirk Franklin. Somebody call Kirk Franklin. How do you communicate through your anxiety to your husband? I simply just talk to him. Like, we've been married for almost 15 years. So it's easy to talk to him about anything. How do you grow yourself in times of high anxiety? I think literally not taking control, giving the control away. Like, I think some of the simplest things that we don't really think about, want to be in control of everything. We want to make sure this is this way. We want to do this. But it's like, God is so simple. He's just like, give it to me. Like, go about your day. Like, enjoy life. Like, joy comes in the morning. Like, there's new mercies every morning. Like, why are you tripping over tomorrow or yesterday? Like, I got everything. Like, I got it. Like, literally, like, just saying, okay, it's out of my control. And that's helping you to grow, because once you realize that, it's like, okay, I'm making progress. I'm making a step forward. And I don't think we think about the simplest things that really can help to really mature us and grow us. Because you think about all the years that you literally were holding on, and you just really kind of think to yourself like, wait a minute, but God says, cast your cares. If I will take care of the sparrow, why do you think I ain't gonna take care of you?
Lord Jesus.
In what ways do you feel Eddie supports you in those seasons? What are some tips for spouses? Eddie supports me by listening. I need listening ears. I need for you to pay attention to me and to listen to what I'm saying. If you feel like you have advice, great. I'm hesitant with who I receive advice from, but I feel like, if you're able to give your 2 cents, yes. But listening, really understanding me, which is what he does. There's a pile of dishes in the sink, he know that's stressing me out. If I'm stressed out, that's gonna stress me out even more. Like, I like to keep stuff as clean as possible, you feel me? So it's like he's gonna go ahead and, you know, handle the dishes or clean this up or do A, B, and C. So that's his way of supporting me, which helps me tremendously. All right, so this is becoming a very long video, but hopefully this has been helpful in some way. Again, these are just some of the things that I could think of off the top of my head that has really helped me to cope and manage. I think really getting to the root cause is really helpful with when you're dealing with things like that. It's and to know that you're not alone. You are not alone at all. There's so many people who are hiding behind it, who deal with it, who don't know, who deal with it on many different levels, who everyone is struggling in some way. You're gonna have struggles, but you also have to make it a point to really want to change those struggles. Like, to know that you do have some control. Some things you're gonna be out of control. Like, you're not gonna have any control over, but some things you do have control over, whether it's sleep, whether it's diet, whether it's supplements, whether it's talking to somebody, whether it's literally giving God full control, or whatever you believe should have full control. Like, there are ways. And I think just what we see on, you know, movies and TV shows is like people just laying up in bed depressed. There's so many high functioning depressed people in this world. Hello, there's so many high functioning people dealing with anxiety. What may make you sad or make you not at your best is valid. Sometimes people look at their situation as like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. We've been told that, you know, there's people out there who ain't got nothing to eat. To me, that's true, but it's still kind of invalidating and gaslighting what you're going through. We all deal with different things on different scales, and you have to acknowledge that. It'd be the cliches and the simplest things that would be life changing. You know, I still have my little moments. You know, it may be hard for you to pinpoint because I'm naturally like a goofy person. Like, I need Jesus. Also, too, before I go, and I'm speaking to myself too, stop comparing yourself to people over the internet. That's all I'm gonna say. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. Some of that is causing your anxiety and depression. You over here fixated on something that's not even reality. Hello, somebody. Anyway, so yeah, again, I hope this video was helpful. I just hope it helped somebody, one person. I'll be satisfied with that. So I appreciate you guys for tuning into this video and just listening to me, and hopefully it was helpful. You know what I mean? And I'm praying for you. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.